Hey, just wanted to create this video just very quickly. Well, I say quickly, it might take a minute. A lot of people are sort of questioning about what's happening with Bitcoin, what's going on. Some people don't know what's happening because they're new. Other people, more experienced traders, have been in for a while now, so they've kind of got a general idea. So this video probably isn't for you if you fall in that category. Uh, So you're probably wondering why my trading view looks like this. I use my own custom indicator. You can find that on TradingView. Just search for Night Rangers indicators and you'll get this lovely jargon. Basically, I'll talk you through very quickly how to use it. So I use the stock to show me overbought and oversold values. Generally, when it's above the line here, 80, it's overbought. So then you're naturally going to expect a dip. When it's below 20, that's when it's oversold. That's when you want to buy. As you can see, it's dipped below 20 here, slightly on the blue line, on this candle here. So you want to buy, and it's come on up. I can show this repeatedly. So here, it's gone underneath on this candle. It's gone underneath, and then it's come up. So you take your profits where you can doing that. You don't just use it for that. The MACD, now I actually use this for volume. It's not volume, but it is volume in how I use it. So I check to see basically the buying volume and the selling volume to try and find the breaks and the changes. So I don't actually use either of those indicators as they're intended to be used, which is interesting. At least as far as I'm aware. Now, the other thing is I use the baseline from the Ichimoku cloud, which is this purple line right here. And then I accompany it with 3 moving averages. So I've got a 7-day moving average, a 25-day moving average. Sorry, the 7-day is light blue, the 25-day is green, and the 200-day is yellow. Okay. Now, generally, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for areas. Let's see. I'll show you here. So I'm looking for this primarily. Okay, so you got the 7-day crossing over the over the Ichimoku cloud baseline. Okay, to me that's a bullish indicator that's not yet confirmed. I mean, if you bought in there straight away, probably you'd have gone down and you'd think, oh great, wonderful. But the next candle over, it's confirmed the 25 days crossed above the Ichimoku. Okay, so now we've got the 7-day and the 25-day above the Ichimoku baseline. Okay, let's get rid of this quickly. So from there, the 200 days also crossed through the Ichimoku here, but I'll explain more about the 200-day in a little bit. So both of them two have crossed over. Now, what's interesting on the 7-day look, it's overbought. So basically, you don't want to be buying in here. On the 25-day, it's dropped down further. It's within the range. So ideally, again, you don't want to be buying just yet. So this is your first indicator. Let's put a call out here. So let's put first there. By the way, time frame's currently on weekly. I'll explain why in a minute. Your second call out was this candle. Okay. So that's your second. And then what you want next is you want it when it enters oversold. Okay. So when it's oversold, this sort of area, I mean, you're never going to catch the tops or the bottoms as long as it's somewhere below that line, the 20 on the stock RSI, you're good. Okay, so I'm just going to throw this here for now. So that's the third. Okay, so there you've got 3 indicators. Now what's good about this third one, let's have a look there. So is the volume, MACD volume, as you can see, smack in the middle, but it's switched on the next candle here. This was a very good candle, and it's turned into a bullish sort of volume, and the price has gone up. Okay, so here on this candle, which is where it's completely confirmed. Now, obviously, you're never going to get the tops, you're never going to get the bottoms. This is just a general overlook of the market. You have to excuse me, I mix up my words. I suffer from myalgic encephalitis, so I often get cognitive dysfunction at times. I do apologise if you're struggling to follow along with what I say. I'll try and correct myself when I catch that happening. Anyway, going back to this. So, as you can see, we've got the first indicator, first trigger, second trigger. We've had to wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more weeks because this is on the weekly, but you finally got your buy signal, okay, and that was your confirmation there. So that's where you want to buy. Now, what have we done here? Okay, so from your buy candle, I'm going to do it from the top. You could have bought in somewhere down here or wherever, somewhere along this candle. Let's just do it from the middle. Okay, so if you held till now, it's 147.49%. Okay, you can't go wrong. Okay, and it works the opposite direction as well. So let's take a look here. So when the 7-day crosses under the candle, okay, so as you can see, sorry, it's under the candle when it crosses over the candle here. So that's your first indicator. Okay, so that's your first bearish interaction here. Okay, so the 25-day has now crossed through the candle. So this is your second indicator. Okay, let's have a look. So then here, the 7-day has crossed over the 25-day, crossed under it. Sorry, that's your third indicator to sell. Okay, and your definite confirmation would be here. I mean, when it's crossed under that close, you're generally going to go under that. So I'm not going to count that as an indicator, the 7-day crossing under the Ichimoku, but generally that would be an indicator as well. I'll show you that on a shorter time frame. But if you're not already out, this is 100% where you want to get out, is when the 25-day crosses under the Ichimoku baseline. Okay, so let's say you left it a bit late, you've sold somewhere around here. You've probably sold already somewhere along this line, but this is where ideally you need to be out. Okay, so let's go right to the bottom. You're never going to catch the top or the bottom. That's a 62.5% drop from when you go out. Okay, so you never try and chase the tops and the bottoms. You're never going to get the tops and the bottoms dead on. Okay, so this is just a dead simple indicator here using the candles and MAs. Okay, you've got the MACD to show a change in direction of the market, bullish or bearish. That's what I use it for. Particularly the volume. So obviously the darker the stick, the more volume there is behind that, i.e. the more people there are trying to sell or buy, and the lighter it is, that shows that the pressure is starting to ease off. There's less people trying to sell. Okay, so from here on your first indicator as well, you're overbought significantly. Okay, that's flatlining at 100 here, so that's definitely like sell. Your second indicator, you're down below overbought, but the overall market momentum has just flipped bearish, you see. So then your third indicator, now you're entering over sold territory. Okay, you're well oversold, but again, it's still quite bearish volume, quite powerful bearish volume, okay? And all the other indicators are telling you to sell. So you do not want to be buying here at all, okay? You need to get out. And finally, on the sell, you're still oversold, but everything else is screaming at you at this point that you need to get out. So if you haven't listened to this and none of this, and you're still holding, then there isn't a lot. I mean, you might get lucky here, but this is how you use this indicator that I've created. I say I've created. I actually saw a video a few years back of someone else doing something similar. All I have actually done is I've tried to put it into TradingView as a script to make it easier and more accessible for other people. But I have not seen anyone else do this. I've seen one person. And unfortunately, I don't know who that is, so I can't credit. So if you are the original person of this method, do reach out to me. I'd love to credit you. Unfortunately, I can't remember who I saw at the time. It was a low view account video that I just sort of stumbled across. So I'll say that now. Okay. So I've coded it. I've put it in and tried to make the best of it how I can. And obviously tweaked one or two things. I think the guy used the RSI as well for a trend line, which actually that's a point, which is what let me take you up to the indicators up here. So I've got the trend, the RSI, and the MACD. So he said don't use the RSI for overbought or oversold. You know, everyone does that anyway, but you don't want to be doing that. Okay. I mean, just use the RSI as a trend line. Set it at 50 and leave it. If it's above 50, you're in an uptrend. If you're below 50, you're in a downtrend. And that's what I'm doing with the background. You see how it's green and red. Okay, so let me show you. When you're going into an uptrend, it's green. When you're in the downtrend, it's red. Green, uptrend. Red, downtrend. You know, you will have little false positives with the odd week, or because this is the weekly, or the odd day or whatever, where you'll have like little one lines here and one lines there. But you know, you get the idea. It's fairly simple. Uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. You know, you can't go wrong. So it's a nice, easy visual cue. So if you have accessibility issues, I've tried to resolve that by implementing it as a nice visual cue on your backdrop for the chart. Okay, it's a pretty simple indicator that makes it accessible for so many people, whether you are brand new in the market or whether you are in the market for years. I mean, you probably won't use my indicator if you've been in the market for years, because no doubt you'll know more advanced indicators like the Elliott wave theory, etc. I believe they're called indicators, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway, let's go back to this. What else was I going to mention? That's it. So the trend line basically follows the RSI. What you can see in the backdrop, it will tell you up here as well. Okay, so you've got an uptrend, which we're in currently. It tells you on the RSI, just in case you do like to use the RSI for overbought or oversold, it will tell you whether it's overbought, oversold, or whether it's in accumulation. So overbought on the RSI is anything over 70, oversold is anything below 30, with accumulation between 30 and 70. Okay, and then obviously the MACD is a nice text written indicator up there if you can't have the MACD in the stock RSI as well. Okay, because I can't put the MACD and the stock RSI as indicators on this indicator, not in a visually accessible or appealing way. So you will have to get the MACD and the stock RSI to work hand in hand with my indicator. I've tried to put as much information in on the indicator as possible. However, it works best when you use the MACD and the stock RSI visually like this. However, you don't need to, as all the information's up here. Okay, right, let's get to Bitcoin very quickly. Okay, so I'm looking at the weekly. Okay, so far it's very bullish. The interesting thing on the weekly is the 25-day has now just crossed above. See that? It's crossed above the baseline. That is exceedingly bullish. Okay. The last time crossed over, say we take last cycle for example. Okay, let's get the measure. So when it's crossed over here we'll take its peak, although technically you could count around here because you'd want to sell obviously, but we'll go for its peak on candle close. I'm not going to include wicks. Okay, so that was a staggering 617% when it last crossed over. Okay, on the last cycle. I'll say that quickly because it also technically crossed over here. Let's have a look. So crossed over there. Didn't really make a lot. 11% if you followed that. But I mean, we're at the early stages. Okay, there's going to be like little false positives, and you have to take into consideration everything else. Okay, but if you ignore the little waves, okay, that's what this is, a little wave technically. When you sell from the top to the bottom, let's just choose that candle for now. That's a 75% drop. You know, so this right here is bullish, very bullish. Okay, but there's a catch. The catch is this candle. What's special about this? It's a hanging man candle. Okay, it's not confirmed yet. For it to be confirmed this week, this needs to turn red. Okay, if that candle doesn't turn red, if it stays green, then it invalidates this candle. If this week's candle goes red, then it's a directional trend change. Okay, the market is going to go bearish. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. So let's hope this week we stay green, and then the rest of it is very bullish. Okay, now currently on the weekly, this trend line's a bit out of whack, but you kind of get the idea. So I draw the trend lines myself to sort of get a general idea. I just wanted to bring that to your attention on the weekly. Now on the monthly, let's have a look. I looked at this the other week. There we go. The 25-day is close to crossing the baseline. That hasn't happened in Bitcoin's history on the monthly. See, it come close there, but it didn't cross it. Okay, so this is going all the way back to January 2013. Well, August 2011 on the monthly. The 25-day MA has never crossed that baseline. It has come very close, but it's never done it. If we look and zoom right in, technically just about it's crossed. But I mean, it's not technically valid yet, so I can't say that. But I am super bullish. I'm really bullish. Okay, it's crossed. It's close to crossing. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. If that flips, I'm going to be so bullish this cycle. I can't believe it because it'll be the first time that's happened in its history. Right. This is where I normally look at my charts on the 1 day. As you can see, the trend line's a bit more suited. It's not perfect, so for all you people out there that are going to call me out on incorrect trend lines and stuff, that's cool. Do it. I draw the trend lines myself. I'm still relatively learning, but I want to show you this. Okay, so we followed the trend originally. Let me see if I can copy this. There we go. Copy and paste. I had this around here like so. To start with, let's extend that and bring that up to here. So this is how I was doing it to start with. Okay, and it was playing nicely within this range, and then it went bearish, come back up, and then sort of pumped up. Okay, now it's following the top of that trend line. Come on, delete. Thank you. Right, so it's sticking to the top of this trend at the minute. It's respected it quite well. You can't deny that. So I'm keeping that line. Okay, so what we have here is a wedge formation, which is hopefully bullish. It can turn bearish, but I'm hoping it'll be bullish. The levels are working well. And if you add my indicator again, if you look at it, pure and simple. So the 7-day and the 25-day cross above. It's gone bullish. I mean, it's crossed above again there. So if you didn't get in down here and then that's crossed over and you think, oh no, what do I do? It's gone straight through. Okay, so you could buy in again here. So you could have missed out on, let's have a look. To there, 20%. That's nothing really in the grand scheme of things. So let's say you've used my indicator this season. You got in here where it crossed. I'll do it from the candle close to where we are now. It's 105%. Spot, 105% spot. No leverage, nothing. You can't argue with that. I mean, all right, it's 166 days. You're going to miss out on all these like beautiful swing entries. But that's not what this indicator is for. It's not for swing entries. This indicator is purely if you don't really know what you're doing and you need something easy to use to introduce you to the world of indicators and the world of crypto. Okay. So I am long-term bullish on Bitcoin at the minute. I'm expecting to see 80,000. Let me just do this second, and I'll show you why. Like, I'd drawn this Elliott wave earlier. I don't really know what I'm doing with Elliott waves, so if you've got any tips, feel free to let me know in the comments. So I've drawn this earlier from what I saw. So those waves, they're pretty easy. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. They're quite extended. Third wave should be the steepest incline. Okay. Fourth wave never goes lower than the first. So now and my target is 80,000, and this is why. Well, my target's been 80,000 for a while, just speculation more than anything. But doing this, I can actually back up more why now I think it's 80,000, and I'll say this. So, the first wave was, I mean, that's 56% there. I worked it all out in the Discord community I'm part of. I've got my own channel where I get to post my shenanigans and ramblings. Basically, the way I drawn it originally, there was a 61% increase from here. Let's check that there. I mean, in fact, I'm not even going to mess about. I haven't drawn this exactly how I drawn it earlier, but the picture is in on the Discord. I'll put a link down below. Wave 1 was a 61% increase. Wave 2 was a 22% decrease. Okay. Wave 3 was a 92% increase. Okay. Let's have a look quick. Should still sort of be the same. All right. Well, that's 85%. Okay. And wave 4 was an 18% decrease. Okay. So the difference is if I calculate the differences between wave 1 and 3. Okay, wave 1, 3, and 5 are your pumps. Wave 2 and 4 are your dumps, essentially. Okay, let's keep it simple. The difference between wave 1 and 3, I calculated at a 31% difference. Okay, so I'd already put 5 up there, but let's have a look to 80,000. I don't know why this is now showing that, but I'm out by a couple percentage drawing this for this video. But as you can see, 80,000. I'm not going to go tit for tat on specifics and technicalities because I don't really do the Elliott wave theory. I like my indicator. This is how I trade normally, with my indicator, not doing the Elliott wave theory. But by doing that, I'm actually even more bullish because it actually gives me an indicator to back it up from. Okay, so going into today and the market quickly today. So as you can see, we've been ranging beautifully within this ascending triangle with a with a bull trap up here. Okay, so as you can see, we bumped out, raised up, going for the weekly high or monthly high rather. We didn't quite get it, and it's dropped straight back into the wedge. That was a bull trap. Okay, so the bulls were like, yeah, we got this, and then the bears come in and went, no, you don't. Right, but I kind of think it went into a bull trap, into a bear trap per se, because the very next candle, the bulls regained control, and they brought us back out of the wedge. Only just, but candle close is just out of the wedge. So let's see what today brings, for whether the bears are going to push us back into the wedge or whether we're going to break out to the upside. I am very bullish and hoping we're going to break out to the upside, possibly seeing 74 to 76k, hopefully some point this week. Hopefully. As you can see, the MACD pressure has dropped off significantly. Okay, we failed to go into the overbought territory. Okay, so we're at previous levels relatively, but we're not at overbought territory. Okay, so we're in sort of accumulation, as the RSI says, we're in accumulation. The MACD is bullish, the overall trend is an uptrend. The MACD is about to switch to a bullish sentiment on the volume. Okay, and we're still in accumulation, so we've got plenty of room to grow here. There's no reason to be bearish right now. Anyway, hope this all helps. I've put a lot of information in a relatively short amount of time. I would like to see you all over in the Discord. I'll put the links down below. And sorry, I don't do any of that jargon stuff because that jargon stuff just catches your eye, it draws you in, whereas I don't like doing that. Let's just get to the information, let's just get to the trade, and let's make it as simple and easy as possible. Alright guys, check the description below, and if you like, give me a thumbs up. Nice one. Peace out.